to explain a little bit about NFT financialization so that we can understand the power of NFTs and the solutions that exist nowadays in the NFT finance infrastructure. And then talk a little bit about Zharta because it's kind of our solution. So I'm very happy because we went live yesterday. So it's even, we are super, super happy. So basically, NFTs are a very big, okay. NFTs are a very big market. We all heard about the metaverse, and we are on a phase where we are building the new singular market. So like the vision for NFTs, I know that sometimes seems a little bit silly. People talk about Bored Apes and doodles and NFT collections, but when we start to grasp the power of NFTs, the NFTs are digital objects that can represent, they are boxes that can represent any kind of digital assets. And they have their own properties, and they are going to power up the metaverse and all the Web3 gaming space and all the real world assets, because it makes perfect sense to improve the process that we have on real assets today by creating digital twins that represent the metadata and the information along the life of the assets. And the metaverse is a $10 trillion opportunity. So this is very big. And NFTs nowadays don't have a very good financial infrastructure. We came from the real world where we have banks, we have debt, we have obligations, hedge funds, all payment gateways, we have everything. But on the NFT space, there is a very big gap. So we have the marketplaces. Everyone heard about OpenSea, so that's kind of obvious. But then we have other solutions. And we have, what we are seeing now is that we have different solutions trying to target different verticals. We have companies that are trying to create NFT marketplaces only for gaming or only for art or only for real assets. So this is kind of one trend that enables the first layer, the first users to come, to test, to try, to have the assets on their pocket, to trade with each other, and to grasp the power of it. For example, we are seeing in the real life the NFT PFPs providing utility for the users. Yuga Labs 1 week ago provided the sewer pass for the users to play a game that's only available with the NFT. So these are the kind of things that are starting to arise. And we have the NFT marketplace to provide and to make the industry to start growing. Then on the part of the finance infrastructure, we have the lending space. That's the field where we are. It's kind of the same way that we go to a bank nowadays to get a loan to an house, or if we need, if we want to leverage ourselves, someone has to provide and be willing to take the risk and get the profit. But then we have other kind of tools that are needed in the space. We need pricing to ensure that the NFTs have good valuations. How do you price something that you have no idea? Because it's easy to price an house. It's not so easy, but you can price an house because you have tons of data of all the houses that are being sold. But how do you price an NFT? It's a good collection. There is users, there is segmentation, there is sentiment. So all of this is relevant. Then you need to look into underwriting to understand what's the risk of doing financial operations with it. And solutions are rising everywhere. Future markets, perps, it's a booming of infrastructure that we are seeing. And all these companies appeared last year, the majority, okay? So when we started creating Zharta 1 year ago, this slide was like 10 companies and it was easier to perceive. But now you can see that this space is growing a lot, and there is a very big space for companies to address problems of this space that need user and human solutions that make people to come to use this on a daily basis, to create habits, and so that the ecosystem can drive. And so going a little bit to the lending and to the borrowing side, and not trying to be boring, just want to showcase some data about the lending space. We see that the crypto space is having a little bit of bear market, and that the NFT space regarding $2 is lost a little bit of the traction that kind of gave the highlights last year. But we can see that the cumulative loans being done in the networks are very high and growing a lot with the space. We see that we have almost more than half a billion dollars being provided on loans last year. Basically, we see that we have 40,000 users that try to do a loan in this space. 40,000 users, it's a lot. And just to ballpark, there are 300 million users in the crypto space, more or less, ballpark. Okay, and so 40,000 users, it's a good, it's a good sense of how much this space can grow, and we are just surfing and touching the surface. And so, but in reality, what's the typical journey for an NFT holder? And the reality is that we have lots of companies, and the users go and try to buy a Bored Ape, but they are kind of, they don't have many solutions as per today. In reality, like the companies are trying to build an infrastructure. We are all targeting this, but it's hard for a user that buys a collectible, that buys a digital asset. He sees the floor price of the asset going up and is growing, but when he needs liquidity, real-time liquidity, he has to make a decision. Or he sell the asset and will lose all the potential upside of that asset in the future, or he will hold the asset and then is not solving the problem that he has. And so borrowing makes perfect sense, and that's the logic of creating credit markets on this space. And the key solutions in the space, they have some problems. You can already loan on NFTFi or BendDAO or JPEG, and there are other solutions. But they grasp to understand that the users, when they need a loan, they have a specific target at a specific time. On NFTFi, you can get the best rates, of course, because it's a marketplace where users can provide loans to each other. And it's like you go to eBay if you want to sell something, because you get the best price, because someone will always be willing to try to top up the other players. But this takes time, and users that are making loans typically need the money for yesterday. On BendDAO, you can request a loan, but they basically provide a very risky solution for a user. You get the loan, but you can be liquidated out of the blue. And so if the prices of the asset go up and you are not ready, you basically can lose the asset that may be relevant for you. And JPEG, in reality, they provide loans to try to fetch the asset. So it's kind of they give very good opportunities, but there is always a catch. And so we tried to build a solution that was a little bit more driven to users. And so our goal was to create a peer-to-peer model. Okay, so where we have several users building a full DeFi, full non-custodial. Users would deploy their assets, liquidity on lending pools. The capital is ready to provide a loan. And then we have a borrower that comes and needs a loan. And he deposits the asset inside of the lending pool. And what we do is that we use AI appraisals to ensure that we can price the asset. And we also compare with other players. And so we can, with that, identify what are the best price for that asset. We then apply underwriting and risk management tools to ensure that we are providing a good offer. And if everyone is okay on this ecosystem, the user will accept the loan and everything will be non-custodial. And the advantages are clear. You can get a fair pricing. You can get instant money. So if you are trying to get a loan to do something fast, you get money on hand. You know the terms. You know what's going to be the duration. And the cool part is that we provide liquidity protection. So we studied a lot. The majority of us come from banking industry, and we studied the risk markets of all of this. And we understood that you can provide loans with good terms, and they are stable enough to provide a nice, that can provide a useful ecosystem to the space, and the risks are not so high in reality. And then we try to create flexibility for the users, to create bundles, try to reduce gas fees. So instead of requesting when you have an asset, it's okay to do a loan on an asset. When you have 10,000, it's hard to get a loan on 10,000 assets. You have to bundle or do, or else the solutions that we have nowadays to do one by one, and that's not very gas efficient. And even on user experience, we help to try to build a solution that is made for users. If you need $10,000, you don't want to click on 20 assets or 30 assets to understand what will be the one that can provide you the loan. No, it's like we help you to select the best ones, and then if you can cherry pick, and these are the kind of things that we are trying to build to the space, trying to build solutions that make sense so that the users can use and that can make the numbers of the NFT lending to go into to be more aligned with the crypto space. For the lenders, what's in for a lender on this space? Sometimes it's hard to buy a Bored Ape, or you want to get into a community and you are not sure. So you get exposure by providing a loan to an asset. And so you are getting a slice of the pie of the NFT market without having to own or going after a specific asset and always be on top of all trends. We try to reduce that effort. And so it's low risk. We know by heart and by data that is very solid. It's a very solid market, which is super interesting. And last, we try to provide discount opportunities. This is a marketplace where users can request loans. Sometimes users can't repay because they made some mistake, they forgot, and tons of reasons. But we try to create a community sense where the users are the first ones to rebuy the assets. And with all of this, we also use Safe, and we use Safe on our solution to manage the wallets that make the decision making in some key actions, and also on treasury management. We are fully degens. We understand the space. We have, of course, part of our capital allocated on custodial solutions, but the majority of it is using decentralized solutions, and we use Safe as one of the prime solutions to ensure that we can do good decisions and we are protected from problems that can arise to a founder. And just to close, we launched yesterday. We have $3 million ready to deploy to provide loans. We raised $4.3 million this year during the bear market. We had Greenfield as a lead investor. We have some Web3 experts like Spaceship, DAO, and we have also local VCs because we are Portuguese and made a ton of sense. We have Shilling inside, and we have other business angels in the space. And we have been trying and testing the solutions all the time to identify what works, what the users want, and what can we build that makes sense for them. And we just launched, and we are super happy. And the founding team is me. I'm Nuno Cortesão. Previous to this experience, I was the head of blockchain at Accenture here in Portugal, and I work in blockchain since 2016. The three of us, we are engineers. Diogo was the head of blockchain at Mercedes-Benz Global, and a computer science engineer, and is a CTO. And Pedro Granat was he excelled at operations, and he was a senior project manager at Bosch and Ovion, and is one of the co-founders and the COO. And so join us. I hope that I didn't steal too much time, and any doubt that you guys have, just come and talk with me, because super happy to talk about this, and my wife is completely tired of listening about NFTs and Web3, so just keep in touch.
Like when somebody gives you an NFT token, you usually floor NFT price. Like what data provider, from my understanding, you use, like, for example, Chainlink can provide data for the some of the NFT collections.
So basically, we built an appraisal engine. Okay, we source data from in-chain, off-chain, and then we use other KPIs that we feel relevant, and we set the price for the asset. Then we try to decentralize the solution by querying other data providers. There is on the space, there is very good evaluators as per today. We have NFT Bank, we have Upshot, and other solutions that do that. We capture the different prices from everyone, and then we understand what's the based on our risk policies, and everything is available on our documentation, we try to identify what's the best price for that asset, and we provide a loan using that. As that part exactly, it's not being processed in chain right now because gas fee is very heavy on cost, and we are talking with Chainlink even for to understand how we can overcome that in the future.
Already you using already 3D metaverse assets on the NFT platforms, or it's like for PFP collections and art?
So we now are tackling PFP and art, okay? Exactly that. It was our first use case, but we want to start leveraging lands and metaverse assets because and there is a very big pipeline of NFTs to onboard.
And are you using Unity for game engine or Unreal Engine?
No.
You mentioned NFT game.
Yeah. We as a company we don't do gaming, so we are not doing the gaming part. Okay, we just do the financial part of it. So we for us the NFTs that come, they kind of a black box with their KPIs and their financial scoring, I would say.
Cool, yeah, Nuno, thank you for the presentation. I have one last question, so more like an outlook. As you just mentioned, like most NFTs right now are like profile pictures or artworks. Where do you see the trend for NFTs? What kind of like you think other industry will be important also for Zharta?
So I see that there are two big fields on the NFT space. There are the NFT space that are digital native, okay, and the ones that come from the real world. And they have separate tracks. The NFTs from the real world have a very big pain point. And from my experience on Accenture, I know because I've done it a lot, it's very hard to create a real digital twin, something that exists in real life, that is always synchronized with a digital representation. And those are the ones that are going to bring a very big slice of the market. They will take a few years. It's hard to pinpoint when. I would say 5 to 10 years. I think that's a good outlook regarding to those assets. There is very big pain points on onboarding the data of blockchain into blockchain, and the first ones to move, I would say that are going to be the not digital native, but financial native. Bonds, stocks, all of the financial products are easier to bring in chain because they are easier. You can have more data points to ensure that the validity of them, and that's a very big market. Only debt in the world is like $40 quadrillion. It's like I don't even know how many zeros. It's a huge number, and so the institutions and incumbents are like praying to get that in chain as app. You have some companies working on this space on lending. You have Credix from Brazil. You have Centrifuge. They are kind of top players in this space. I would say there are a few others, but I believe that the digital native ones are going to be one of the biggest trends on this space. You have everything that's PFPs are very interesting for the tribal community sense that they bring to the space, to the digital world, and they will. It's funny because you start to realize that there are different trends. When an NFT PFP brings too much utility, sometimes it loses power or value because the users realize that the utility becomes more relevant than the community part. Sometimes the other way around, you have an utility and that provides a lot of value. So it's very hard to see what's going to be the outcome of them. But then when you start seeing metaverse, and I would say that if you guys have the opportunity to play the sewer pass from Yuga Labs, it's very interesting because it's the first real usage of NFT to access a digital world. And it's a stupid game. It's not stupid, but I like it a lot. I've played a lot now. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but it provides a glimpse of the future of this. And when you start to see real metaverse applications, then the value of all of this is going to be, I don't know if it will not dwarf the real world. And so I see the digital assets as a very good trend for Zharta, because in reality, it also helps with another problem, because we can bring total in-chain value, we can build full non-custodial smart contracts, and we can get the ethos of all of these and work with the ethos of the community. And the last part is, it's like this digital world is the new capital market. I never seen such a big, it's like when money was invented, then when finance and debt and stocks were invented, I think that's like level 2, and now we have digital world of the space. It's going to be the next very big thing.
Awesome, thank you, Nuno. And let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Do you have questions?